I know that you care for me. You're always down.
Good morning. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, we got a great show coming at you this week. We're going to discuss the runoff of the mayoral election between Tony Prattwinkle and Lori Lightfoot. We're going to talk a little bit about a event that's coming up that the Living and Driving While Black Foundation is putting on in conjunction with the Black Entrepreneurs Festival. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call a friend and let them know. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Let the Truth Be Told. I would rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with a lie. Let me in.
Shut town. Are you ready? Come on. JJ on the track. It's your boy Preacher. Yeah. True. Come on. Ain't the truth. Ain't the truth.
I'm married to truth.
I'm married to the truth.
I'm married to the truth.
Yeah. I'm married to the truth.
I'm married to the truth.
Come on.
I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me.
Yeah, for me.
And I know that.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. First, I want to give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahshua, for making it possible for me to be here. Then I want to welcome all of my first-time listeners, my regular listeners, and my Facebook Live fan. Y'all, my people on Facebook Live, y'all need to go on and share this as much as you can. Y'all be sharing stuff that don't make no sense. Share something now that you can glean from it. If you don't know what glean means, that means that you can learn something from what we're talking about today. Okay. With no further ado, I'm going to introduce the people that's in the room. This young lady needs some kind of introduction. A lot of people ask me how I grew up to be tough. Coming from the country, we was taught to be meek and mild-mannered, but when we got to Chicago, we had to toughen up our skills. So my big sister was the one that was, every time I had a problem, she would come around and she'd be like, "Oko, let's go find these suckers and get it in." But I'm happy to have my big sister in the studio. Martha, say hello. You don't let the truth be told.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully we can give y'all a good, fantastic show today.
And my niece, look at the twins up in the house today. What's up, Stashanda?
What's happening? How you doing?
You ready for this?
Me, I'm ready. Let's get it in.
Okay, now, Chicago. Growing up in Chicago was a treat for me because when we came from the South, we was country kids. And we didn't really understand the blackness that we should have known because we wasn't taught those things. But after coming to Chicago, we learned about who we were, all the potential things that black people had. We grew up in Inglewood. I went to Tilden. My sister went to Tilden. Our god-grandmother was the second lady ever elected to the city council, Louise Barton. She taught us about politics. Inglewood was the black maker of the world. We had black businesses, the black schools, Oliver Wendell Holmes. We had black teachers. Everything was black. But now as time has went on, and the true politicians of the black community in Chicago and across this country, we lost the ideology of what it was to be black. And now I come on this show all the time, and I talk about how black people, we lost our spirit But what we're going to start talking about is how we get this spirit back. And so, with no further ado, I want to let my sister come on. And Martha, let's talk a little bit about growing up in Inglewood. What are some of the things that you saw that makes the difference in today?
Well, back in the day, I mean, everything was it was sort of fresh to us, I mean, coming from the South. I mean, we were taught uh to turn the other cheek, we wasn't taught to fight or nothing like that. But then, coming from the South and then coming to the city, and then where, the kids just gonna make you fight, you know.
Yeah.
They'll make you fight. So, after a couple times of you running home, getting beat up, head busted, so you go to that bottom floor, and then you say, okay, I got to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? So even though you don't want to fight, you have to learn how to protect yourself. Other than that, you'd be just lost.
You know that's right.
Yeah.
And I want to send a shout out to all them Lowrys out there in Ben Harbor, Michigan, Q, Joy, all Lowrys across the country. We know we're going to converge 2020 in Atlanta. It's going to be a family reunion. And I'm hoping that everybody would, come down and let the different tribes of Lowrys start to interact with each other. And let's show this country how family going to be. Star Shonda, what's going on, girl?
What's happening, Uncle?
You. Let's talk about Star. Tell our listeners some of the things that you like to do and that you do.
Well, I'm a teacher.
Yep.
I teach. So I've been teaching for 15 years. And that is the biggest thing for me. I think that's the biggest reward, whether you get paid or not. You got to educate people.
Yeah.
So I believe in changing people's lives. So
Now we got three different generations in here, Star. And you grew up you grew up in a household that you had rules to follow. Now,
yes, sir.
what you see today, because you've had children yourself, talk about a little bit about the changes that you saw since you grew up and now that you're an adult and you have children.
Well, things are a lot different now. You got a lot of parents, they don't set the standards. There's no discipline in the house anymore. It's a lot different. Back in the day, it was take a village to raise a child, and that's what it should be right now. But people get upset when you say something to their children.
Yeah.
You look at them wrong, they get upset. It didn't used to be that way when sister such and such, they lived down the street.
Right.
If you acted up at her house, that's where you got it at. Then you got it when you got home. The respect factor is gone. People my age don't discipline their children no more. That's why so many kids, for people my age that are grandparents
Grandparents
already.
right now.
They're grandparents. It's too early. You got to stop the cycle somewhere.
Well, and that's true too, because how we was raised up is totally different than today. But in today's time, we have to start looking for solutions, and that's what we're trying to do with this show. Let the truth be told is about telling the truth about situations that we face every day.
Yeah.
And it's just like being a junkie. You can never be cured of being a junkie until you admit you got a problem and that you are ready to address it. So that's what's happening in the Black community today. Folks, we got a lot of problems. We got some things that about ourselves that we have to fix before we can keep asking other people to fix us.
Right.
That's
The Black community right now is at a place where everybody get rich off of us. Everybody have took a history lesson from us. They've united. They build their communities, and yet the Black community
Still down.
is still in shambles.
Still down.
And so one of the things that we with the Living and Driving While Black Foundation is doing, we've been helping a lot of people across the country with all sorts of police brutality cases, civil rights, any kind of form of discrimination. We have really tried to make a difference and reach out. And one of the ways that we know of that can change the dynamics, and Black people, we spend more money than everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We need to quit spending our money on these Gucci Woochie Poochie clothes. The white folks don't want us to wear them anyway. So how could you pay your money out of your hard-earned pocket and give it to somebody that really don't like you?
Right.
And so that's one of the things that the Living and Driving While Black Foundation is trying to address. And saying that I want to move into the economic side of the Black community. Economics was the key thing that really tore the black community apart after all the industrial jobs went away. Black people that didn't have a college education, that depended on their jobs to take care of their families, they started having a lot of problems. And so once that happened, then you flooded the community with drugs, guns, and now you created this war zone. And everybody, we know that.
Right.
We already know that.
Mhm.
So here come the solution. June 29th, 2019, the Living and Driving While Black Foundation has partnered with the Black entrepreneurs here in the city of Chicago. As a matter of fact, I want to thank Miss Nancy Ellis for bringing me into this situation to where we can make a difference here in Chicago, and we can show the world right here in Chicago that black people, we can unify, we can work together, and we can build our communities back
Amen.
by investing into each other. So June the 29th, we're going to have a Black Entrepreneurs Festival. At this festival, there will be nothing but black entrepreneurs there. We're going to have times where all the entrepreneurs can get together, they can talk, they can start sharing ideas, they can each services that each organization has, or each company has, they can start using it. And the reason why is that we need to keep the black dollar in the black community. And so with this in mind, buy black and invest black.
Yeah.
We're hoping that these black entrepreneurs will come together with us. We will create investment type clubs. Each month we will meet, but we will also pay dues, and we will take the money and we will start buying up the black community. See, just like in Inglewood, I want to give a shout out to Shirley Coleman, not Shirley Coleman, but Stephanie Coleman, Shirley Coleman's daughter. She's running for the alderman of the 16th ward, and I spoke with Stephanie yesterday. If we want to make changes, we have to get political leaders in places that's willing to step out and do the right thing for black people. Stephanie Coleman is that kind of person. She's cut from the lineage of her mother Shirley, and also from my grandmother Eloise Barton. So those people in the 16th ward, that's your new alderman. Now the runoff is April 2nd. Stephanie Coleman, the new alderman of the 16th ward. And so whatever we need to do in Inglewood, let's put somebody in there that's going to look out for us and help us make a difference. Yeah. Now back to the scene. The entrepreneurs in the city of Chicago, and there's a lot of black entrepreneurs, we all need to start pulling together and spending money. But if we start buying the community back up, there's a lot of pastors, and they've been around a while, and a lot of them have gotten properties, but they've been doing it out of self-sufficiency for self. And so with these investment clubs, if we get together and we buy these buildings, why are we sitting around letting white folks come into Inglewood buying up the whole ward? Yep. We got money just like they got money. Right. They're not going to let you come to Orland Park, or they're not going to let you come to Tinley and buy nothing. You're going to have to jump hoops to get into a store. Black people, wake up. It's that time. What do you think about? Think about some of the things, Mom, you think that could help us. You two Star, y'all can get in anytime y'all want to.
Yeah. If you buy in the neighborhood and invest your money in the neighborhood, then I think we would probably have less homeless people. You know what I mean? Because if I buy a building, invest in a building in Inglewood, then I can house some of these people. Because they don't really want us over there no way.
No, they don't want us in there.
I mean, we can put, they say always saying about the ghetto. The ghetto is what you make of it. I mean, right. But you make the ghetto. But if you keep your property up, teach your kids to respect, the next man property, clean up, fix up, put the money in, we ain't got to be in no ghetto situation.
That's right. That's
We
right.
spend billions and billions of dollars every holiday,
Yeah.
you know, and where we spending it at? We don't get no residual from that,
No,
you know.
no.
But spend it with your into the community, and then you'll get something back.
Mhm.
And
What you
that's,
think,
you
Star?
know, back
Also,
in the day.
yeah, I think that when you invest in the community, when you do stuff like that, you take a lot of kids off the street too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's what a lot of thing is. You got a lot of killings. You got a lot of kids that have no guidance. These kids are just out here. They can get
Mm-hmm.
them. That would give them jobs. That would give them after
Right.
school programs. It's a lot of things that could be done. These kids need guidance because these kids are the future. These
Right.
kids are the future of what's going to happen.
I'm gonna
So
go.
you got to throw some guidance out there. If you throw some stuff up in the neighborhood, give these kids after school programs, give them something to do to get off the street, give them somewhere to go.
Now I'm gonna throw a few topics out, and I want people to really pay close attention to what I'm finna say. The marijuana business. Now let me lay a little groundwork for y'all out there. A lot of y'all brothers out there have been arrested for marijuana. A lot of brothers is doing time for marijuana.
Mhm.
And long as that the white man or the white government could not find a way to control the sale and the packaging of marijuana, they prohibited and made it a drug that was the gateway drug to lead to other drugs.
Right.
Now, alcohol is the most leading killer of all people with all the drugs mixed together. But the reason why I'm saying this about the marijuana thing is this. Once the government figured out how they was going to do this, then they've always been the purveyor of the best marijuana in the world. They've always have been.
Right.
Let's just keep that real,
Right.
okay? But now the situation goes as follow. When the war on drugs came against black people, which a Democratic president, Bill Clinton, who created Three Strikes You Out, the mass incarceration, when the war on drugs came about, it hit the black community hard because now you got a black community that had no economics, men trying to be men, they had children to take care of, bills to pay, and a lot of brothers turned to trying to make the quick dollar. They weren't educated. So now, once this government figured out a way to control it, because after a while, you stop getting weed with seeds in it.
Mhm.
You can't even find weed today with seeds in it.
Wow.
They don't even sell it. Now that they've gotten control of it, marijuana is about to be legal for recreational use. What's going to happen to the black men and women who sitting up rotting in jail with 10, 15 years for selling weed?
Get out.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, y'all think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
You going to put me in jail. You going to tell me I'm no good. You going to tell me I'm shiftless. And the weed mess my mind up. It make me lazy. It might do, but 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 you're gonna condemn me and throw me in jail. Now all of a sudden you're gonna tell me that, oh, marijuana ain't so bad. It's not really the gateway drug. That's because you want to make millions and millions of dollars off the marijuana trade right now.
Yeah.
But yet you still got these brothers locked up. And I think that's been part of the problem is that the states now are trying to figure out how do we legalize this and let
Make it
these
okay.
let these white purveyors, they've already got it, they got cultivation houses, they got the clinics, they've gotten everything in order. Just as soon as Governor Flintstone, I mean Pritzker,
Flintstone.
that nigga look like Fred Flintstone. Soon as Governor Pritzker decide that he want to go ahead on and legalize it, then marijuana is going to make the state of Illinois $1 trillion probably in the first 2 years. So, black people, we need to take a look at that business. When I first started talking about it, people was like, "Oh no,
And the farmers.
the white man said that the marijuana wasn't right, and we ain't gonna do it." In the meantime, he was getting crops, he was building houses, and
Yep.
everything else to sell.
Farms. Marijuana farms.
And now all of a sudden,
Mhm.
black people are saying, "Hey, maybe we need to get into this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, and the thing is, we got a lot of black educated men out there that are on the streets. I hate to put it out there like that, but a lot of drug dealers actually have a lot of good business skills. They just need to put it somewhere else. Put
Right.
that effort into something else and make it something.
Change
There's a
the
lot of
product.
skills. There's a
Right.
lot of accounting,
Change the
a lot
product.
of accounting and finances skills that they don't even think about that they use every day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They don't think about it. You know
Right.
what I mean? And hey, put those skills to something else.
Well, Nisa, I'm so proud of you. You've grown and you've become a real queen out here. You got your education in the nursing field. Talk a little bit about that. That might enlighten some people about how you got yourself started in the nursing field. I'm sure it's a lot, but some might need a little refresher.
I mean, I started off like a lot of other people, home health aide, CNA. Just felt like that wasn't enough for me, and then I had to go on and I was like everybody. I didn't go to college right out of high school.
Right.
I waited until I was married and had kids, so I know the struggle is real. Working full time, going to school, you got to get those grades in, but it paid off in the end. So I ended up with my master's degree in business, healthcare management, and I love it. I love teaching. Like I said, it's not the most rewardable job pay wise, but it's rewarding in blessing wise. I
Hey,
feel like I get
Right.
my blessing because I change people's lives.
that's it.
I have people that come, they never even been in a classroom in 20 years and don't even think they can do it. And when they finish the program, they can do it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that is my reward. That's what I do. That's what it's all about. Honestly, that's what I
Right.
think I'm here for.
Really, really. And
Right.
God calls us to different ministries.
Mhm.
Everybody ain't got to be up in the pulpit,
That's right. That's
all
right.
that hooping and
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right. That's
all of
right.
that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's not even about the idea of and this is why I don't deal with a lot of religious type stuff. Religion teach you that you have to pay money, that you got to be in church every day, and that you got to do something. And if you're not doing these things monetarily, that you can be barred from the great blessings of God.
Mm.
That ain't true.
That
No,
ain't true.
no. God gives us a lot of skills
A
and
lot of
we have to get out here and I guess you can use the word minister, but I think of it as teaching and sharing my
Yes.
skills with other people. And it ain't
Right.
about money and what church I attend on every Sunday, because
Right.
there's a lot of folks sitting in church on Sunday that ain't even going up there.
Mm-mm.
They
Yeah.
just there every day.
They just there.
You know what I mean? So it's
Holding
about your
seat.
heart. It's about the good works. That's what we're put here. Christians supposed to be working.
And
You
that's
just
what I'm
ain't
talking
always
about.
gonna be in church. Your work is out in the street. You do more work out in the street than you do in the church.
And you know what? You're so right that you'd say that. I was talking to a colleague of mine the other day, and we was talking about the state of affairs of Black people. And as you look at the Black community as a whole, you look at all these different sectors of Black people.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You look at the rich Black people. You look at the actors and the athletes. Then you look at the pastors, the politicians.
Right.
You would think that here's a solution. All those people would get together with all the money that they have
Mhm.
and invest and buy the Black community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got all these actors, we got all these preachers, and a lot of y'all preachers, y'all getting that government money, so y'all really don't count because y'all compromise. See,
Mhm.
when you taking the white man's money and you're a man of God, you lessen yourself as a man of God because you're being compromised by the almighty dollar. When you start taking his money and you can't go out in Inglewood and talk to the young brothers out there that might need to just hear a word
Right.
from you
Something positive.
that could change your life,
Right.
you won't do that because you're not getting paid.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so y'all brothers of the cloth that's out here is a big problem that all of us going to have to deal with that.
Mhm.
And let me say this. We gonna go into this mayor's race a little bit. And we're gonna talk about how this is dividing the city of Chicago. It's dividing it in such a way that I don't know. The damage might be unrepairable after this Chicago. And it's saying that we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna discuss the mayor's race of Chicago, the two candidates that's running, and how it's gonna affect the Black community. You ain't got nothing to do. Let a friend know you're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. See you in a second.
JD on the track. It's your boy Preacher. Yeah. True. Come on. Take the truth. Take the truth.
I'm married to truth.
I'm married to the truth.
I'm married to the truth.
Yeah. I'm married to the truth.
I'm married to the truth.
Come on.
I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me.
Yeah, for me.
And I know that you care for me.
Care for me.
You're always down for me.
Down for me.
You always there to pick me up.
You quenched my thirst when I was thirsty. I feel like Lord, please have mercy. Man, homie, when I'm feeling lonely, cause it's the truth that shape and mold me. Truth be told, cause I'm married to it. If it ain't the truth, man, I don't wanna do it. Real love, be official. It bear forgiveness and it be sacrificial.
I'm married to truth.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. I want to send a shout out to a friend of mine, Carlos Massey. This brother has been in a struggle with Cook County and the corrupt judges and jailers, and finally God is shining the light on the truth in this situation, and those same people who were, creating all the atrocities in his life, it's starting to turn around. It's starting to turn around the other way for him. So up to you, my brother, Carlos G. Now, Chicago, get ready for the first black female mayor. First one. 2 candidates. Lori Lightfoot, Tony Prackwinkle. Now, first of all, let me get out what I want to say, okay? People of Chicago, y'all missed the real mayor. Y'all missed Willie Wilson. That would have been the best candidate for the mayor of Chicago. He has no ties to nobody. He don't belong to no organizations. All he is an entrepreneur that was poor, who raised himself up with the American dream. A lot of black people was thinking, and I'm going to say it right out, a lot of black people, we hate each other. We think like assholes because we see the situation in Chicago. We've seen Rom. We've seen Chewy. We've seen all these other people that have wanted to be the mayor of Chicago, and nothing changed. After the terms of Rahm Emanuel, Chicago hit an all-time low. That was Barack Obama's friend that Barack sent here to prepare Chicago for the museum. And you see what happened. He brought those old Gestapo tactics, took over, been running the school board, closed 54 schools in the black community. One of his head people stole $300 million from CPS, and she went to jail, and Rahm never got touched. Took money and gave contracts to people in Israel, and they can't even consult nowhere in Bronzeville. So we had a chance to get a real black mayor that understands being poor. Now, getting to the candidates. Lori Lightfoot, Tony Prackwinkle. We're going to have to pick the lesser of two in this race. And I'm going to tell you why. Miss Lightfoot was a federal prosecutor. She represented the police, just like in the Laquan McDowell. Y'all, everybody hollering about Lori, Lori. Lori don't give a damn about the black community. Lori got a whole bunch of other people behind her with a different agenda. If you're going to run for the mayor of Chicago, your agenda and being LBQTZ, whatever, should not matter. You should have kept your mouth shut and stayed on point to talk about what you're going to do to change the city of Chicago. All the people, even Tony Prattwinkle, y'all going in on it about each other's sexuality. And nobody's really talking about what they're going to do to bring Chicago out the ashes. Right. The north side is fine. The south side and the west side is a war zone. I haven't heard neither one of those candidates say what I'm going to do to uplift the black community. Everybody has had their own agenda. And mind you, I know I catch a lot of heat from the LGBTQ, the gay population. I just want to say this. I don't care what you do. That's you in your bedroom. I'm going to keep real with you. I got friends who are gay. They know me. This is a talk show. I play the devil's advocate. I'm going to say what it is to make you think. So I'm not against that type of lifestyle, but what I don't like is this. If you have a mission, complete the mission, Lori Lightfoot. Keep the gay agenda out of it, okay? And we already know everybody that's elected to some kind of office is going to take care of their people.
Right.
Except Barack Obama. Even if you do have the agenda to open doors for the gay community, let that be so. But don't let that be the only area.
For everybody.
It's for everybody.
It should be for everybody.
You say that you are of that community, the gay community. And you say and you know that you're fighting for civil rights, which is a total different fight than the black civil rights. But you're fighting for human rights to be respected. That's fine. But it's not associated with the civil rights movement. And so if you say that, then my question to you is this. If you know how it is to be of a agenda of being gay, you know the discrimination factor of it, then the first thing you should do is go to the black community and start to rebuild that. Black people are being discriminated against. We're being hated. We're being jailed. We're being killed. And there's not been one mayor that ever, except Harold Washington, that stood up and said for the black community, we're going to create economics. We're going to teach blacks how to own businesses. That's what this is all about. What you think about that, Star?
Right. You know, even with the LGBT community, you know, I think it's more than that. You can't use that as something, like you said. It's got to be what you're going to do. You know, that's just your status, if that's what you want to call it. That's just, you know, that's just what it is. That's not saying what the action of what it is that you're going to do. So yeah, it really makes a big difference. You really gotta stand for what you're doing. Exactly. You know, you can't use that as an excuse. So I'm not gonna love anybody less or expect anything else out of them because of that. But when it comes down to it, and to be honest, you know, that's not even really, you know, I guess if you're gonna support that, then you need to support the black community, because a lot of the people in black communities, they don't support LGBT. It's not even accepted a lot in black families. So that's a whole nother discussion. But, you know, black folks are not very accepting to gays and things like that. That was never even nothing that was even talked about in my house growing up. They didn't talk about it. You knew about it, but they didn't talk about it. So if you're going to fix one thing, fix two. Because there's a lot of black folks, a lot of friends that I have, their family don't even talk to them no more because they're gay. So if you want to fix it, if you want to use that as an excuse, fix both. Don't just use one. Fix both.
What you think?
A lot of black folks that struggle.
Well, me, I'm just to each his own. I mean, I don't discriminate against black, white, or, gay or whatever. A person is a person, and everybody have that right. I mean, we was all born, and we all came here the same way through the same passage, maybe in a different spot, but we all can't had to come through that same little pain spot. But the bottom line of it is that's your child. And if your child can't come to you with an issue, I mean, whether they're white, black, whatever, and they got this problem, they should be able to at least come to the parent first of all.
Mhm.
And the parents should be able to understand and guide them, or either go and get some assistance to help them, deal with the situation that they're going through, whether they're going through becoming transgender or gay or whatever, and that's the problem. It needs to start at home first.
Yeah.
And then, venture out into community, maybe, if they had somebody to talk to, if they had these different feelings growing up, when you're going through adolescence, you may feel like, oh, I'm attracted to a girl and I'm a girl. I'm attracted to a guy and I'm a guy, but they need to be able to go to their parents and say, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way. Can you help me? It's not a sickness. It's just whatever their body is. It's a body thing.
Well, and you're right. A lot of people say that um, they were born like that, or I just think that to me, it's a spirit
I think
itself.
it's a spirit, but then it's an imbalance of hormones. I mean, all
Hmm.
the stuff that we eat today, it's got all different kinds of drugs in there.
Hmm.
You don't never know what drug would affect your body in some kind of way.
Right.
So we don't even know what they're putting in our food, number one. And a lot of our food being coming from different countries and pesticides and different that. Well, everybody's body is different. Well, I'm allergic to pork, you're allergic to fish. Well, I'm allergic to
Hmm.
milk, you not. So your body react to different things. So I think that, nowadays it's got a lot to do with, I think, the food we eat, what we drink, the water, all of these different drugs is going to
Hmm.
our in our bodies
Right.
that we don't even know that's going in our bodies. And then, I'm gonna say this: back in the day, before you got married, they used to have you have to take a blood test.
They quit that now.
They quit giving a blood test. But back in the day, if you took a blood test and your blood did not match with the partner, you couldn't marry that individual because your children could come here either deformed or have some type of problem.
Okay.
That's what the blood test was all about. But
Right.
nowadays, people are having kids, a lot of kids out of wedlock with different partners. Partners got different issues. They don't even explore the issues. And then they're having all these babies that are coming here deformed in all kinds of ways, straight off the bat. So we really can't say, well, some of this didn't come from birth,
Hmm.
or it did. Some of it could have came from birth.
And you know
Because
what?
you don't
I
never
don't
know
think it's
what you're
anything
doing.
new.
I
I
don't
think it's
think it's new.
something. I
It's
think
been there.
it's always been there.
It's
The
been
thing is,
there.
it's always been unspoken.
Right.
Right.
To put it out there, white folks talk about it more than black people. White
Right.
folks talk about being gay to their kids. Black folks don't talk about that. So then when they do come out when they grown,
Hmm.
then
It's
everybody mad at them and
it's
this and
an
that.
issue.
Yeah.
But
It's an issue,
going
but it's
back
not.
right, but going back to what we were saying, I'm not gonna vote. I'm part of that LGB, and I'm not gonna vote for somebody just because they're gay or they're this or they're
Right,
that. It's
right.
about what you're gonna do for
What
what
you
you
gonna
say.
do?
If you say you're gonna do this, then that's who I'm gonna vote for.
Yeah.
It's not about me being, yeah, we the same, we agree on
Right.
this and that.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you get my vote.
Exactly.
Right.
That does not mean that you get my vote because you got to look at the person themselves. It's not about all that extra stuff.
Okay.
Right. So-
Now, next candidate, Tony Prattwinkle. Um, Tony is part of the Democratic machine. She has been a long time standing politician. Her career spans probably well over 30 years. Now, there's been some things that have happened, and she pulled commercials the last leg of the way. I think that was a strategy move for her just to focus on getting more votes out there. But when Todd Stroger was the president of the county, he had administered different types of taxes, like the penny tax. She came on a platform and ran against him and tricked the voters that the penny tax was not going to be no good and that it wouldn't help the county. And then she got the office and she started all taxing all to hell and back. She came up with a soda tax, a bag tax, a smile tax, a tax if you spit on the ground. I mean, all sorts of taxation for the county, and the county is not in good shape. Now, I'm keeping it real with you, and I know her. Black contractors did not get any county contracts.
Wow.
A lot of monies is going toward the Arab community to purchase properties and get tax breaks in the black community. All the bad things that have happened under the Democratic leadership that Ms. Pratt Winkle have been a part of all these years, she is part of the problem. And I know a lot of folks out there want to be loyal to Tony, and they want to make sure that she gives the mayor. But if you've already been a career politician, in the condition of the community, now this is what's going to sound like I'm picking a side, but I'm not. If the community has died under your leadership, if you allowed the 54 schools to close when Rahm Emanuel closed them and used the president of the county, you should have found some money to buy those schools back and put black teachers back to work as the president of Cook County.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got one of the largest budgets in the world. As the president of Cook County, you should have ensured there should have been enough black entrepreneurs set asides for black business to rise. But you didn't. You gave more money to Arabs and everybody else and other opportunities to other folks besides black folks that you could have helped. Now you want to be the mayor of Chicago. Now you want to go out and you want to get people, all sorts of people. You want to get street people who ain't even legitimate to come on your campaign. You got all the preachers. And I said this, and I'm going to talk about a situation that happened earlier this week on Facebook. You got all these preachers running around. You got activists like Jamal Green, who is not old enough to understand politics. He ran for mayor. His endorsement was nothing because he has no backing of nobody. All right. Now you got all these pastors taking a side. And I'm saying it again to you preachers, to you supposed men of God, your ass out of politics. Get out of politics. Ira Acura, I posted something on your page which was the truth. Y'all pastors need to get out of politics and you start hollering about Martin Luther King. What the hell happened to Martin Luther King? Get in your lane, stay in your church, come in the community, help the people in the community, but stay the hell out of politics. Because that is the problem. That's the reason why the preachers can't help the people in the community, because they're getting government money or they're looking to get money from a candidate so that they can build a church and build them a house and get schools and go to trip and never put nothing back in the black community. All y'all preachers taking sides. Brother Acura, I'm going to say this to you, and you probably listen, but you blocked me, but I wanted to tell you this. And this message for any preacher out there, the number is 708-223-8953. If you can look into the Bible that you love, that you say about Jesus, I'm about this. If you can find a passage in the Bible that said Jesus was a politician, or Jesus assisted the Pharisees and the Sadducees to get into office. If you can find a place in the Bible, y'all Jesus thumpers, oh, I love Jesus. If you can find a place in the Bible, Brother Acura, that says Jesus worked with the politicians, that Jesus took money from the politicians, hell, show it to me and I'll join your church. Other than then, get your ass out of politics. Y'all want to end on something like that?
All right.
I heard that you said it all.
Because it don't mix.
Nope.
That's why a lot of churches is not doing nothing in the community.
Right.
They getting that federal based money. They looking for these houses they can get from the banks. They looking for all these
Well,
gratuities.
and it don't look good either, because if you a pastor and you got a congregation under you, they wondering where's the money coming from. I'm riding a Honda, you got a Cadillac or a BMW. I mean, it just doesn't look good.
Well,
Even.
not only that, you got a lot of pastors saying people can't come to the church unless they give a 10% tithe,
Right.
and you driving a Maserati.
Right.
People lights going out trying to pay tithes,
Right. No food.
and you living in a $3 or $4 million home.
Yep. You got pastors who help who they want to help.
Right.
Some of them leave you on red, and I'm.
And that's why I say this Negro,
Mhm.
this Negro who want to be a civil rights leader, who want to be in the cameras, and all y'all can check my record. Go down and check some of the court records on living and driving while black, and how many times David Lowry that got stuff missed. Go check the records on jobs. I make a phone call and get a person their job back. Come into the community and do something real. Quit sitting up in the pulpit, heaping and hollering and spitting, and then you scared to go talk to a brother because he got his pants hanging down. Okay, Daniel's in the lion den. Okay, Ashak, Meshach, and Abednego. Where is your faith? Because if you got faith of a mustard seed, then that simple small seed that grows, all you pastors, if you had faith of a mustard seed, why is the black community tore up like this?
Right.
And y'all say those are God's people and God's children, and we in this condition.
Shouldn't be afraid to go nowhere.
So pastors, I ain't forgot about you, Father Flager. Get out of politics. Father Flaker, all your boys that's out here pedophile priests, that another man can forgive another man for destroying a child's life, get out of politics. Stay out of politics, because you might get into something that might cost you something you don't want to know. Closing remarks. I'm out of here off that.
It was good being here today. I appreciate the invite from the Quad Cities. So
Oh yeah.
appreciate you having us today. Turn up.
Martha.
Well, with that being said, you said it all.
No,
The
that's
thing of it is, if you're a man or you're a woman of God and you're a man of God, you shouldn't be afraid to go in any neighborhood at any time of day or night and preach what you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I did get on the roll right there.
Oh yeah, you had a sermon going on.
the truth was told.
The truth was told.
But I want to say this, folks, what we're doing on June 29th, the Living and Driving My Black Foundation and Miss Nancy Ellis, which created the Black Entrepreneurs Festival. June 29th, I want a lot of my brothers and sisters to come out and help support this. To the Greek world, the brothers from the fraternities and sisters from the sororities, we had our differences. And I told brothers like Bruce Hollywood, Andre Kilpatrick, Mike Gully, all y'all brothers that know me, I want y'all to be a part of this forum on June 29th. Because in this forum, we're hoping to have everybody from different organizations. We finna show people across the world that Chicago can unite. This is for black people, no matter what walk of life, whether you're a Greek, whatever, Easter Star, a Mason, GD, Vice Lord, Blackstone. I don't care what you claiming. It's all the same because it's an organization. One is not better than the other. The functions are basically the same. So on June 29th, I'm asking all my brothers and sisters to come out. I'm asking all the pastors to come and support what we're doing. Let us learn that do this. Let us learn to get into one house. Each organization do what they do best. But yet we always come back to the table. We always discuss what we need to, what's the best for the black community. And I'm saying this because let's put all this bickering aside. Whatever that I have, and I said it before, I know a lot of people might not agree with me. I sure in the hell don't agree with a lot of people. But it's this simple. This is about black people. This is about the greater good of black people. And y'all know that we in bad shape.
Yeah.
We got to get bigger than that. We got to rise up out this dirt, and we got to start putting our heads together, and we got to be our own saviors.
Amen.
Everybody wait for Jesus to drop down out the sky. God blesses the child that has his own.
Yeah.
Black people, we have our own. Let's rebuild our community. Let's put our money together. Let us not let the white community buy Inglewood. We cannot let them do that. We cannot let them buy Bronzeville. Those are our houses. Those are our families. Those are our communities. And we have to take this attitude across the entire country. So Chicago, June the 29th, Black Entrepreneurs Festival. Come out. Bring your business. Get a booth. You can call me, 708-663-5262. You can get Nancy Ellis. She's on Facebook. I mean, we want people to come. There's going to be seminars on how to do things, how to start businesses. We're also going to have a raffle for a business, a new startup business. Whoever wins the raffle, they'll get the money to help start up. We're looking at Incubate Space and Project Hood. So let us converge on this. Even my people from out of town. Let us converge on this so that we can make a difference for our people. And in saying that, I want to thank everybody for coming.
All right.
I want to thank everybody for coming. And look, folks, go out. Be positive. Think black. Buy black. Think about your children. Think about your community. Think about the things that you can do to better yourself. It all starts with the man in the mirror. We don't need a national leader. All we need is God, our own self-confidence, and black power. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr. Thank y'all for listening in. Share it out. Remember, vote your best conscience April 2nd. And let us hold whoever gets in office accountable to do what they need to do for the black community. God bless you. Peace. And we out.
Come on.
I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me. And I know that you care for me. You're always down for me. You always there to pick me up.
You quench my thirst when I was thirsty. I be like, Lord,